Yeah, I like the trophy of a hardcover though. So like I will if I've already read it or listened to it, I think I usually buy the hardcover for sure.
This was a trophy because it is so different than anything else that's on my shelf.
Yeah.
Like for the best reasons, and I thought the cover art was so pretty. It was just like so fun and joyous, and gosh, I like want to go to a Hindi wedding.
It's like, how do I low-key get invited to one?
No clue.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask her that. Like, how does she have any coming up, and can I go?
I want to know what I look like in a sari.
I really do. I've always wanted I've always wanted to wear the colors and the clothes, and it just like
so beautiful.
We wouldn't look great. It's not hard.
No.
I think Sermon looked a little bit better than I'm going to look at this.
But
but I want to wear one.
I just so appreciate it. Like the whole.
I just want to know her story. I didn't really look up too much about her because I was like, I'm going to ask her. I'm about to talk to her. Like, I'm just going to ask her all the questions. So but I did read her bio in the book and it's insane. It's like the craziest, it's such a it leaves you with I have so many questions. Yeah. Go look at that thing. That is a bio. That's going to make you this book was great. It wrapped up really nicely. The bio is what I want part 2 of the bio for sure.
Bio was a paragraph.
Book. Yeah. I want her next book because she's a baller and she's so cool.
Like how cool. She's lived everywhere.
I know she's going to have the coolest story. So I'm here. I cannot wait to hear her story.
Especially if she's been in publishing her entire career.
Yeah. Then this is her debut.
Yeah. Whoa.
Anyway, if you have this book, go read the bio and then come back and listen to this episode because you're going to be like, wow, that is it is cool. It just seems like there's just a lot left to learn.
Tell me more.
Yes. Tell me so much more. And also the book, it's such a refreshing read.
It really is. It was a really nice palate cleanser between a lot of books. And I'm like, oh, I needed that. It felt like a warm hug at moments. And especially the ending. The ending was just a sigh of relief. And we don't have to have so much anxiety.
No, it's okay, you're going to be okay. Everyone's going to be okay. We're good.
It's going to be okay.
It is exactly the type of thing that we've been talking about with rom-coms and romances recently, where the genre is being pushed a little bit. They are more about, they have everything that you want in a rom-com, right? And tell me if you've been noticing this trend as well, but the rom-com aspect of it is there. It has everything that you feel comfortable with, that you know and love, that you feel safe reading, but there's all these added layers of other things. And I just mean even deep knowledge. Yes, Chef had the almost kitchen confidential aspect of it, and this kind of bringing the knowledge and the kitchen stuff in. And this is the cultural heritage aspect of it. And the family aspect of it is so deep and it's so smart and it's written so well that you leave this book and a lot of other rom-coms coming out right now. I feel like this is what I want is that we leave it and it leaves us thinking, it leaves us feeling a little bit more knowledgeable on a subject. And it just is a good, well-rounded read.
It feels so authentic.
Yeah.
That's the word that I've been trying to name in all of these books that we love so much. It's they feel authentic, and it's not a surface level type of book that everyone used to kind of deem romance or women's fiction or whatever the hell, just surface level of oh, it's an easy read. But no, why can't we have hard-hitting themes and really well-researched things and other aspects of literature within our romance?
Can I just tell you too what I think that we used to call authentic was voicey. I think we should just start really getting away from voicey.
I agree.
And saying like, this feels authentic. This feels like somebody's talking to me. This feels like, and I think that that's what people like and what they want. And saying something as voicey is not.
She's here.
Hello.
Finally.
I know. I feel like this is very thematic, like the end of the Odyssey. We've made it. Somebody pluck a bow or something. Like,
yes.
You know what?
Accurate.
That's exactly what this is like.
Yeah.
100%. How are you? How's everything been going? How's your release? Like,
yes.
It's good. I can't believe I was like texting with someone and it's been over a month already, which feels just wild. Yeah. It's been in the world for a while now. So it's kind of nice because it's not like a new release anymore. And I feel like it's just finding people. So helps my anxiety a little bit.
All of these summer releases, I was like, bang, 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 bang. And I'm like, wow, everyone must just be very tense right now because everyone's coming out with such incredible books. And I didn't even know where to start with them. I'm like, do I read this first or this one or this?
I know. I mean, the nice thing is that it's like such a good problem to have. But yeah, I think I was more just like so happy to be in the company of so many great authors more than like I just am like I'm of the belief that like the more people read, the more people will read. So it's kind of nice to have so many different books to choose from.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's definitely been a whirlwind of a summer for sure.
Yes. We're not even like we still got a month to go.
There's still books coming out. There's still happening. What was like the highlight? What's like the coolest thing you got to do or the coolest event or what was the most fun thing?
What was the coolest thing I got to do? Some stuff is coming up that I can't quite talk about yet, but hopefully in August it'll get shared. And that was definitely maybe some of the coolest things I've done. But aside from cool, like I think just getting to meet readers who read the book and then like talk to them about it has been so nice. Writing is such a weird little thing where you like do it by yourself, and then as you go through the journey of getting to be a published author, you like pick up people along the way, like your agent and your publisher and your editor, and then but it always feels really small until the book goes out, and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't know, in a nice way, it's like not really mine anymore, which I think I liked a lot.
I love that. It's like it's everyone's thing, everyone's creation at the end of the day. Oh, it's like a community book.
Yeah. It's just like, it's not what I wrote. It's like what I wrote and how you read it. And like, there's just this like lovely little meshing of things.
Totally. Yeah. And especially with this book, it felt like Cait and I were just talking before you jumped on. It felt so authentic and like I was watching the best Bravo TV show ever. And it was so...
High compliment.
Like, I saw it. I saw the sass from the aunties. I saw, like, everyone having anxiety of, like, do I say something? And it was, like, there were some confessional moments, but also it was so genuine. It wasn't, like, scripted drama. It was definitely, like, authentic and real and very, like, relatable. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was such, like, a joyous book to read. So thank you. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you. That's been the best part is people kind of like, great job.
Right. And we were also talking. It was really hard. I don't love to like look up a bunch of stuff about a guest coming on because I want the conversation to like flow and but I read your bio on the back of the book. And for people listening, we were supposed to record this a long time ago. So it's been a little bit of time before since we've read it. But I've read your bio on the back of the book. And then like I had to sit with all of these questions for so long. And I was like, I can't look up any more about her. But this bio deserves its own novel. Like I feel like there's stories in this bio. Like I need to know, how did you get here? Like what's the publishing journey? How you lived in a luxury hotel. I need to know the details. I'm dying.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, I actually do think that I've had it was because I grew up because of my dad's job and stuff. So I wasn't like active in any of these choices. But when I look back, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a wild, wild little life I had. So I was born in India. And then when I was about 4 years old, my dad worked for a luxury hotel group. And they moved him out to a property in Beijing and China. And I don't know why I clarified. There's like only one Beijing in the world, but Beijing, China. They had this rule at the time where you had to if you're being hired by the company, they had to provide you with housing. And so the hotels just put you up in the hotel rather than like pay for your apartment. So for about 11 years, I lived in like luxury hotels when I was a kid, like Eloise-style. At
That's
one
my
point,
first
one of
thought.
the suites was on the 37th floor.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Stop.
My favorite thing is when I tell that story, there's like this generational reference divide where I'm like Eloise or The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. And it's like you relate to what, like some people relate to both, but most people are like, I'm one or the other.
Like, wow, what a divide.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. That's so so you went to school at NYU,
hmm
but what's the publishing journey here? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, I actually went to school. Got my master's at NYU for publishing because I really wanted to work in book publishing. So I worked at Penguin Random House for about 13 years until very recently. And yeah, but I worked on the business side of it. So I was like in the sales part of it, sales and business development. So I worked with things like the accounts, like the bookstores, how much we sell to them, what titles they take, how much they take, things like that, as opposed to editorial. And then I also worked on things like special projects. So I got to work with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, if you're not familiar with it, Dolly Parton, Greatest Two Men on Earth, has a program where she gives free books to children between the ages of 0 and 5. You get a book a month because she wants children, especially children who don't have the ability to access books outside of the library, to be able to own their own books. So I worked on the publishing side of it with that team to make that happen. It's a lot of fun special projects like that. So, I've sort of always been in books, but I decided, much like many other people in the pandemic, that I was like, I've always really loved writing. What if I tried writing this book? At the same time, one of my closest friends, Jessica Joyce, was also going through her publishing journey, and she was very encouraging. And we had met through writing like ages and ages ago. We've been best friends for like 15 years. So I wrote it. I got an agent pretty quickly, but then we took a year to edit the manuscript and go through it. And then my publishing journey was like 2 years long. So it's very thematic. Everything is taking a very long time. So the Odyssey theme continues, but
Yes.
yeah, that's sort of how I got here. So this project's probably been I would say I started it in October of 2020. I don't know. Yeah.
So okay. Before my current life, I was a graphic designer
hmm
at a few different agencies, and I always found it really hard to design for myself because I knew not only what success looked like, but because I was very particular about what I would put out in the world with my name on it versus a client. Did you have that experience when you were writing this of I've seen the greats, I've seen the bads, I know what works, what doesn't work? Where do I start?
Yeah. A little bit, but in a different order. So a long time ago, I used to write fan fiction on the internet. Um, right around the time both of your faces lit up. I used to write Twilight fan fiction, which is like a very popular fandom for authors coming out because basically it was like Romance Central, right? People were
Yes.
writing books about two people in love. And when I was writing it, right around as I was like getting into the fandom there, or right as I was like deeply into it, that first sort of round of authors whose work were getting picked up by publishing houses was happening. So we're talking like E.L. James, Christina Lawrence for like their stuff goes getting picked up. And then a couple of others. Like there's some really, really notable authors who all started in Twilight fan fiction. And somebody who read one of my stories was interning at an agency, gave it to the agent she was interning for. The agent loved it and was like, I'd love to represent you, which was amazing. This was ages ago. This was like 15 years ago. I was like a wee little child. And and the reason I say that is because it was I had just finished grad school and I was like earning money for the first time and living in New York City. And I just wasn't disciplined about my writing at all. So that was one thing where I was like not writing quickly enough. I was not really working towards it as a career because like I wanted to work my job and then go out and hang out with my friends. But also because of exactly what you said, Jenna, which was like, I got bogged down by that, like, that I don't know if you guys watch any of the Marvel movies, but there's like this quote from Loki where he's like, "I am burdened with great responsibility," or something like that, burdened with great intentions, and like that was me, where I was like, I have to write a Pulitzer Prize winning book. When the truth is, like, do I like reading Pulitzer Prize winning books? Yes. Do I want to write one? Like, not really. So I think I had to go on my own journey of like, what do you actually want to spend years and years with, because that's what a book is. And that's, I think, really how I came up with this book, where I was like, I would like to talk about my favorite movie for 2.5 years. So yeah.
So
yeah, it's so true. And you do. I mean,
literally
and that's why it feels,
it feels so genuine, because
it does.
if you were obsessed with that movie and your character's obsessed with it, we're all obsessed with it now. So yeah, great.
Yeah.
Done.
That was the most fun part, was getting to write characters who like liked it as much as I did, because then I could just write out my feelings for it. Like, I love it, but I also am like, hey, this is problematic, and hey, I hate this scene, and I could write all of that into this book, which was amazing.
It was so good. Now that I think about it, and you said that like you wrote fanfic before this, that like the message board things, I'm like, I see a thread now, because that was great. I'm like, that, like, oh yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah,
that was
I'm
beautiful.
pop culture. Like, I really, really like source material, I guess.
I see fan fiction coming up though, like like you said, all the time now. And that's like even something like Into the Blue, like people are talking about fan fiction, and that everything that we went through as like adolescents, like reading or writing fan fiction, it was a training ground.
I know. Remember when it wasn't cool? Like, you hated that you wrote fan fiction. And I was in a college class and I was talking to them. They were all creative writing majors, and they were going to graduate in a semester or two. And I brought up, and they were like, how did you start writing? And so I had to share my fan fiction story. And I was like, I used to write fan fiction, and they all like burst into applause, and they were so excited. Like, I was cool in their eyes because I was writing it. Like, legitimately.
And like, we never get to talk about fan fiction, and like, I did want to do an episode on this at one point, but like, let's chat. Anyway, wherever we left off when the dog was barking in that story.
Yeah. Well, I think I was saying like how the kids these days are like love it, and they see it, I think, for what it really is, which is probably why all of it either read it or liked it, which is like, it's just pure creativity, right? People are just like, they love something, and that brings you to this space on the internet. And then people are just creating reams and reams and reams of art and words about it. Like, how lovely to have that. We were talking about connections and communities. Like, what a wonderful way to do it. And it's not, nearly as long or even as transactional as publishing. There's like a lot more back and forth. And the thing I loved most about fan fiction was it was the first time I was like finishing stories, because I would post a chapter and somebody would reply and be invested. And then I would know that somebody wanted to read it. And so I would feel like, okay, now I want to write this so that they can get to the end, and so can I. And I don't think I'd really finished full stories before then. So it was like a really good muscle worker.
And I think there's something about how millennials were brought up, and that we started the like obsession like phases of our lives, and I don't think we've ever really stopped. Like we like
we are hyper fixators forever.
We are, and it really shows. So when I loved identifying with like all of the characters when they had like their little like obsessive like idiosyncrasies. I'm like, this is me as millennial, and I'm never going to apologize for it ever.
No. It's like shaped us so much, I think.
Yes, it has. And hopefully we'll see more of that coming out of authors now, because all the millennials are growing up and we're realizing, hey, we have all this creativity I have to like get out of me.
Yeah. We gotta express ourselves some way.
Exactly. Let it be Bollywood movies or writing or both.
Literally. One of my best friends was this was like the first time I ever opened up about like loving reading fan fiction. She was like, I used to write when I was in high school, and she doesn't anymore, but she was like, I used to write fan fiction, and I was like, please tell me exactly what kind of fan fiction you wrote. And she was like, guys, Clay Aiken fan fiction.
What?
Like American Idol runner up. Clay Aiken. I was like, whoa.
Actually has a whole category. It's called real person fiction.
What?
Like, yeah, RPF is like when you write fan fiction about celebrities or famous people, basically.
So good. And I'm like, I need to, like, we'll unpack all this one day when she's ready. But I think, like, and so that's why this is so fascinating to me. But I love that in Leave and Come Back, like, the fandom really plays a role, and it makes the characters so freaking adorable and how they relate to each other. And it's like truly the basis of like how they connect to each other is through these movies, and specifically these Bollywood movies. And I almost kind of love that a lot of us reading don't know the movie or probably have never seen it, and it makes me want to watch it.
I'm very invested now.
Yeah, I'm so invested now. And it's almost kind of like we are putting our own spin on that movie or our own take on it. You're not talking about The Princess Bride. You know, I think you at some point do. But you're not talking about things that like are already so ingrained in like what I'm reading or watching. And so it's such a cool aspect of the book. And it's so different.
Yeah, there were like when I was writing this, I knew that there would be like two pretty separate groups of people who had grown up with this movie the way I did and like know it like The Princess Bride, you know, like it's their kind of super quotable go-to movie. And then there would be a bunch of people I was hoping who would come to it who hadn't seen the movie, but still needed to like understand what role it might play and like how they might have had a piece of fiction them in their own lives that sort of united them like that. And then also sort of understand enough about the plot mechanics of the movie to understand why the book involves it so much. So it was like a really fine line to like not over explain the movie, but also if you ever watch the movie, there's like so many Easter eggs where if you watch the movie, you'll like recognize scenes and like sentences and lines from the book. But if you haven't, they just sound like part of the book, which was like one of my favorite things to do.
My gosh, that's so creative.
Super creative. And yeah, the people that do know the movie too, it's like, how nice is it to see that represented and to see like something that you never get to geek out about or whatever, like in literature and identify with it. Like it's a really cool aspect of the plot for sure.
So
that was also another thing. Sorry, you said literature and like it sprung a thought, which is like often going back to the idea of like us being slightly shameful about our fan fiction and stuff like that. Like often the things we like or are most influential on us are like very broad commercial things that don't kind of get a lot of kudos, but they are the movies or whatever that raised us for better or for worse. And so I think I really like the idea of being like, this is how pop culture really means things to people. It's not just because it's popular, like people find their way to it and it's really definitive and it's not just capital L literature that like changes people's lives.
Yes. Soundbite. Done.
Literally.
That perfectly sums up why I love all of these books that are coming out. Is that it doesn't have to be these grandiose ideas and themes and character arcs and a new take on Wuthering Heights or whatever, but more of just, it can just be fun and it can be referential and it can be a little like a little niche, and you're always going to find the audiences now. And I love that part about writing too, is just there's an audience for every single little subgenre that we can come up with.
Sure is. There sure is. And I think it's like the specificity that feels authentic, right? Because even if like neither of you knew what I was being specific about, but in being so specific and a big fan of it, like that translates no matter what the actual thing is. Winnie agrees with me. I'm going to take that as like a hearty woo.
Damn it, Winnie. Oh, God. This is really funny because generally, like, Winnie's like pretty quiet. And there must just something in the universe today.
Something in the universe. The kids are outside playing. So, yeah. So we were talking about too before you came on. What I was just going to say was how rom-coms right now are so exciting to read. I don't know if it's like this summer or what's going on, but like the genre is being pushed a bit. They're like the rom-coms we know and love. And I know like you've got me. I trust you. It's going to have all of the elements we want and make us feel safe. But like you said, the specificity of topics, like cultures and like different things that I come out feeling so much more refreshed, or like I learned something, or like I experienced a different type of book, even though it was a very familiar type of book right now. And so I feel like you and a lot of other people that we've interviewed too, like you're setting up the next generation of rom-com writers to have that specificity and to have those ideas in their writing.
Mm-hmm. I was at an event, we were talking about this, and it was like 4 different types of romance writers, but we'd all written different types of books. And I think romance specifically has this like, I called it like the elasticity of the genre, where it can like stretch to accommodate a lot of different types of stories while still not losing its main like points and the reason that you're there, which is like a happy ending and 2 or sometimes, different variations of people getting what they want. But it can look so different, and that's why it's so like it's like infinitely imaginable, the types of stories that can come out of this one specific genre. And I think that's why it's so good right now, because people are really stretching their imaginations to go anywhere and everywhere.
Doesn't it make you just like you just want to quit everything and just go read all the books and every single little like niche subgenre? Like I can't even help myself. Like I just want to go do it.
So my next question would be, are you working on more? You don't have to tell us what it is unless you can, but what's next? Not to take away from this one. It's brand new, but.
No. I'll writers are always working like 5 books ahead. I am working on my next one, so I can't talk too much about it, but I think the focus is going to be female friendship. That's sort of a main driver of it. The romance is within the structure of that. So I'm really excited because it's like, they say write what you know, and I felt like I wrote family in this one because I know family, and I knew kind of the like a wedding specifically very much. And so getting to write female friendship is like another great love and definition in my life. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. Plus, like female characters are so fun to write when they're bouncing off of each other. Yeah.
You want to talk about some playful banter? Put 2 ladies in a scene.
It's so much like it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And yeah, I didn't even ask you, but like how much of Leave and Come Back is part of your life, or compared to your real life and relationships?
I wouldn't be shocked if it was 100%.
I know, that's how it feels. It literally does feel that way. It feels like it's all like
yeah, it's not. It's like, it's weird because it's it's not wholesale, like that's my life, but I think there's so much pulled off and like remixed a little bit with another part of it. So like I have cousins and aunts and we have varying types of relationships, and that's where that sort of aspect came from. Obviously the movie, I'm a big fan of it, so it came from there. I'm not married myself, but I have been to so many Indian weddings that I was like, I could write this in my sleep. So like, and a wedding is always a good, it's like a nice writer tool because then you have so much structure and built into your plot. So it's like a nice little shortcut. And the audience also kind of has like a nice shortcut towards it, especially if it's a wedding that has elements that they're not always reading about, like an Indian wedding. But you kind of know the gist of it, right? At some point, two people are hopefully going to make it to an altar, or like, and everything leads to there. So like it gives your book guardrails for the reader and the writer. And so those were like kind of the reasons I think this book came out the way it did. The other thing that's in the book is there's quite a bit of like for foreign language, like not foreign to me, but like language that's not English, foreign to the language of the book. But my family is trilingual. I know so many people whose families are bilingual, trilingual, more. I like that thing about there's this one part where she observes that her aunt like speaks like 4 or 5 languages at last count. Like that's true of my mothers and my aunts and stuff. So my mother and my aunts. And so like that type of the smaller details I think are probably directly lifted to the point of that specificity, and the larger stuff is a little more fictionalized.
Yeah, because it feels very like tactile, and God damn it, I want to go to an Indian wedding. Like,
yeah, how do we low key get invited? I mean, I feel like
who do we need to talk to?
You could just be at the hotel where it's happening, and I think you could just like
exactly
like, shimmy your way in.
Exactly. My husband's family owns a theater company, and a big part of their business is they rent out sets for shows that other theater companies are doing. And one time me and John had to drive to New Jersey, like pretty I'm sure very similar place, like where this is all taking place, and drop off an Aladdin magic carpet to an Indian wedding.
Tracks, like honestly, I'm not surprised. I'm amused but not surprised.
And John had to like teach them how to like maneuver. So they like entered the wedding on a magic carpet. I mean, honestly, it sounds tacky, but it was the most magical shit I've ever seen. It was like incredible.
I'm sure. If you're like, it's one of those things much like rom-coms or Bollywood movies where if that's your jam, there's nothing better, like if that's what you're into, fly in on a magic carpet, like do it.
Do it. It was so spectacular. It's a little bit of a glimpse, but I'm like, I wish I was a guest on that wedding. I was like, I need to be here. But also that's what the final day is. That the end, like is the actual big party kind of the end, or where does that come?
There's like 2 big parties at least usually. There's one the night before and the ceremony, and then there's the reception, which is like if you think about Western weddings and they're just like the ceremony and the reception. Sometimes there's one the night before, which is called the Sangeet, and that was traditionally like people would literally sing and dance during that time. So that often becomes where they do the sort of performances. But like as it's expanded, it's just become like 5 nights of parties nowadays. So it's very intense.
I want to know the budget of these things.
I know. I feel like there is one day, like I don't want to write too many books in a row about weddings, but I feel like there has to be a really good Indian wedding planner book. Like someone's writing it, or someone's going to write it, or maybe one day I'll write it. Because imagine.
I mean, seriously, because I would watch that reality show. I know we already talked about Bravo, but like I would watch like My Indian American Wedding.
Like My Sweet 16 on MTV, but like instead this one.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or there's like My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding. That was a good one too.
Exactly. But this is so entertaining to me. I would read all the books. Write another I would read every book about Indian weddings. It sounds so fun.
Give me sparkles and color and I'm in. Like
exactly.
And good food. Like what?
Yeah.
But the planning, this book has to get done. It has to get done.
Yes. I'm percolating. Maybe
Okay,
book
good.
3. Yeah.
So like
I got to think about like who her foil is at the wedding, right? Because that'll be the love interest.
the DJ.
Is that
He just won't play her playlist. They're really mad at each other.
Or the best man.
I don't. There's
maybe there's like a history there because, as we joke, all Indian people know each other. So
yes, and
I'm
everyone
saying, like, I literally went to New Jersey where this exactly takes place, and so like there has to be. Like,
yes,
if I'm going from
There's something here.
Massachusetts, this has to be a small community. That's amazing.
I'm like low-key obsessed with this cover art.
yes, isn't it so beautiful?
It's perfect. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a snob about covers, and this is a surprise to no one that listens to this podcast. But this is just like,
I feel like that too. Like I look at it and I feel like I'm biased. It's like my own child, but like I'm just like, you are so. Firstly, you're just like aesthetically stunning, but it feels so much like the book. Like the cover feels exactly like what you're going to get in there. And I love that they put an ensemble on there. I love that it's like colorful. I love that everybody seems to be in motion because that feels very true to the book to me too. Like no one's really sitting still in this book.
Well, that's such a good point.
Yeah, and there's like little Easter eggs. So,
yes, tell me more.
Points now. So, in the book, there's this main part. The main Easter egg is that if you watch the movie DDLJ, which is the movie they're obsessed with, this like reaching for each other is actually a scene from the movie that they have. It's like one of the most iconic sort of Bollywood images. In the way that like Jack and Kate on the front of Titanic are, like that's Jack and Kate, Jack and Rose. That's like this kind of level of icon. So like they really worked it in there. So it's a really lovely, if you're familiar with this, you'll know it immediately. And then the artist did this lovely thing where I think she just used color to like signify relationships. So like the main families all have like a similar colorway or pattern to them. And then the main character, Simran, is like slightly different than all of them because she's sort of away from it. And obviously Leo is like slightly different too. I don't know. I just feel like there's so much thought put in. And at first glance, you're like, oh, it's beautiful. And then you look at it. And after you've read it, there's like even more to it, which is just my favorite thing.
Literally. I saw it at the Harvard bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, and it was like, it just stands out so nicely. Like I picked it out right away. I was like, oh my God, that like compared to everything else, it just is like this pink, gorgeous like cover. So yeah,
just very like
what was your
pick upable? That's not a word, but we're gonna make it one.
Upable. We just made it one.
There's unputdownable and there's very pick upable.
Yes. Oh my God. So if you were to like categorize what was like your the most fun part about writing this book, because obviously it was your debut, and you can't take for granted all of those lovely moments of joy when you were writing, because you're like, this is all new and fun to me. So what was it that really just made you go like, this is my book? I loved this so much.
I think there came a point when I had like wrestled all the storylines mostly into where they had to be and like gotten the timeline in order too and stuff like that. And then I just got to like my editors and I did several rounds. And at one point they just kept on being like, add more detail, give more specificity. And I just got to like imagine the characters very vividly as people, like fully realized people. And so the way I thought about it is, and I had like little synopses for this. Basically, I'd like every character in some universe was the main character of their own book. And in this book, they're just sort of coming through this one. And so the idea was like, and I just started bringing in like details from that, like who likes what, how do they talk, what is their past like, and things like that. And that became really fun to me because then they started coming off the page to me, and I think they became these characters who like had lived full lives outside of my book. And maybe that's the fan fiction person in me, but I really like the idea of that.
Absolutely. I can really see that in the uncle. I'm totally blanking on his name, but
Ashok,
the uncle
yeah.
you didn't have to. Like we could have focused elsewhere, and let him just be the quiet uncle in the background. But you have like one of my favorite scenes is like when they're on the walk all together and Leo gets him to open up in front of like the son-in-law. It's just the sweetest. You can visualize it so well. As you said, you can really see these people and like them working together in this big family. So that totally comes across.
Like,
I think another thing that really, sorry, Jenna.
I'm like, I want more about the groom. He seems freaking incredible. Like, best type of guy you want to be associated with, especially if he wants to be a stay-at-home dad.
Yes.
Like,
I had a lot of fun with writing like green flag men. Like I, from the beginning, was like, you always get these sort of criticisms of like, oh, is that realistic? And I'm like, the state of men is so bad that like we don't even want to imagine decent men, like we don't even want to like hope they exist out there.
Sure.
But so I was like me and my editors went back and forth and they were like, he's a little too dreamy, he's a little too this. In the end, he was a little passive, so we made him a little bit more active in things, Leo especially. But both of those characters, Leo and Wishy, like from the beginning, that scene where they become like immediate friends was, I think, like really early on there. And I loved the idea because I think I figured mostly women are going to read this, and a way you signal to another woman that like you are a character to root for is like you have friendships. And I was like, so what if they had a friendship with each other, and then that these two guys are kind of like secure enough in themselves that they can meet a stranger and bond and be like very excited about that.
It was the best little bromance moment I've ever seen, and I loved it. I'm like, I just want to hug you, and. Like,
yeah, I think it's also like two green flag men being like, oh, you're cool? Okay, I'm cool too. Like, yes. I liked that. Yeah.
Oh my God, for sure.
I want more.
Yeah, I know.
Green flag men.
I know. And like I'm not going to give away spoilers on this at all, but I loved that Leo like still got his kind of like, because the whole time you're just like, poor Leo. Like, I know. Like, and like, he's going to
put him through it.
You put him through it, but Leo's fine. Like Leo, he's confident. He like knows what he's doing, and he's fine. And I love the wrap up I love how it ends, and I love that him getting like a little bit of he gets a little bit back. Like
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I didn't want him to be like giving up everything just to be here. But I think there's also like there's relationship dynamics where one partner is just more comfortable with like letting go of things and the other partner's like, no. And that's to me like them, right? Simran's like very stubborn. And I think to be with her, you're probably somebody who's like a lot more easygoing. So that was what I hoped came across with him.
Isn't that is such an obvious thing. Like, but putting it making it a conscious choice in a book feels stupidly revolutionary. Yeah, like there's always one partner in a duo that is more easygoing than the other. Yeah. And if you are both really stubborn, it will be chaos. So having Leo be this like easygoing guy, but he does have his own ambitions. He does like have his own desire. And I like just kept coming back to that because he was such a green flag. I'm like, oh my God, I love you. But like, what about you, Leo? Like, are you going to say anything?
Yeah.
It's great.
There was a whole storyline where I think it's hinted at that he's got like kind of not the best relationship with his father. And it's like not something he's thrilled about, but he's also made his peace about. Original drafts had him work some stuff through, but it felt like it was trying to cram his story in at the same time, because it's like the wedding actually it's a book that takes place over 2 weeks, right? So what are the chances that both of them would have like family reconciliation or come to terms with something in their family in this 2-week period? And so my editors actually suggested, they were like, what if he's kind of past it? Like it's not it's not the way he wanted, but like he's kind of another one of those characters who's worked through a lot of his stuff already, and now he wants to work through how to be with this woman.
Mm-hmm. And
It's so good. Yeah. You know what else feels revolutionary too, Jenna, is that like normalize starting books where the characters are already dating.
Thank God.
And they're learning how to be together. You know what I mean? And because that did not take away from any of the romance. I know that they're a new couple, but it's still not like, this isn't like a meet cute and like all of the traditional things. And that did not take away from any aspect of yearning or anything like that. There was still all of those great things, but it was like them figuring out this other layer of a relationship.
It was so realistic. I'm
Yeah.
like, not everything has to be this grandiose, I met you at a corner and you almost got hit by a car. Like, no, we don't need that. We need the parts where like you're figuring it out.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for saying that. That was one of my worries because it sort of starts where like one of the hooks when I was pitching this to my agents, to my future agent and editor was like, oh, it starts where a lot of romances end, which is like they've gotten together. And the premise was like, what if these two, I say this with all the love in my heart, these two dummies like actually think that they are at their happy ending, but they have so many more issues to work through, right? Like he's the best friend's brother. Like they've gone through the romance, but actually the work is like, how do you commit to someone when they're working through their stuff too? And so instead of a will they, won't they, it's like a how do they?
Leo needs a sequel of his own.
Yeah. A how do they? Is that, did we just make a new trope? Is there an,
yeah, we did.
Can there be a how do they? Literally.
I would read a lot of how do they books, I think.
I would too.
At this point, yeah. Like that's
and
what we're all trying to figure out.
You only get the how do they books when you have multiple sequels. And I'm like, I don't want to have to read 1,200 pages to get to the how do they part. Like, I just want to read that right away.
Yeah. But it was still, it checked all the boxes. Like there was nothing we can, like, it's okay.
No.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I borrowed that a little from like literary fiction and other fiction styles where there's like, a lot of times there's like a romantic interest or a romantic partner through a lot of these books. It's not like in romance where you meet someone and that's the arc of it. So like I really like that idea. And I've read a lot of books where there's like people going through tension in their marriage or in their partnership and stuff. And it layers on what's happening. It doesn't always, to your point, Jenna, have to be the freshness of like a new romance in that it's not like they haven't committed to each other yet.
Yeah, exactly. And I like when they teach us, right? Like start in the middle of the action, start in the middle of something, start like, and that's what we're always trying to do. So yeah, start in the middle of an airport where there are two people already together. Like, why not? Just like throw us into this relationship and let us figure it out. And it was wonderful. It was really refreshing to start there. So,
and we got 2 airport scenes. Like, it was like 2 love.
I love a callback. That's like my writer thing where I like love something from the end mirroring something from the beginning. I think that's like always in my books. And so that felt really fun to get to do the airport scene twice. And have the spoiler alert. I won't say which one, but like one doesn't work the way the other one does.
Right.
Which
that was
I really
hilarious.
liked too. I also like, it just logically makes sense. Because if you think about the logic of the story, he is crazy about her, but like, unless you're in a committed relationship, you're not going to go pretend to like, to be a stranger in this wedding and stuff. Like there has to be this sense of like, we are trying to make something of this as opposed to we are right at the beginning of this, so that the rest of the things they do in the book make sense. I think, at least to me, that felt clear as day. Like they had to be together so that they could pretend to not be together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so true. And his curiosity is adorable, and his desire and yearning to want to know who she is and want to know her family is like what makes him attractive. It's like, this is a nice thing. Like he's curious about her. It's like so adorable.
I think that's I think like in a person in a person of the opposite sex, or in the person like of a friend who you want to be a friend, like it's so lovely when people just want to know more about you, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think
to me,
that's why I
that was like the most attractive thing about him. Yeah.
I think that's what like the
He
favorite
proves
part
love.
about this entire podcast is that like I get to read people's like creative work and then I get to learn more about them of like how they did it. I'm like, fascinating.
It's the coolest thing. It's the best. And we were so excited to chat with you today about this because we enjoyed it so much and we've followed you and we've been dying to talk to you for so long that like thank you for your patience in this very crazy time.
No, I'm sorry. Like I'm so thankful that we got to make it work, and I've been looking forward to this as well. And thank you so much. I know that I like was like, hey, want to read my book? But like, and I know that probably doesn't always end up well, but like,
give it to me now.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad
No,
it
it was,
did in
and
this
it was
case.
one that we definitely had on our radar. So it just worked out perfectly. But
This is gonna sound very thing, but I was just like following your posts, and you know that like meme that's like, hey, I really liked your vibe from across the bar. Like that was me, but on the internet to you guys.
We did the same thing for you. We're like,
Yeah.
I literally messaged Cait. Like I sent her one of your posts. I'm like, I want her on the podcast now.
I actually think that's literally how it happened. Like I think Jenna sent me something and she was like, this book looks fabulous. And I was like, all right, I'll reach out. And I like immediately had already gotten an email or something like.
Yeah. Like you had
something
already
went
followed us. I'm like,
transpired
done.
there. That was not accidental. Yeah. So it was
amazing.
perfect.
This has been another episode of Margs and Manuscripts. Thanks for listening. Your hosts are Jen G. Judith, Cait Winelovich. Our writer and public relations manager is Cait Winelovich. Music by John Winelovich. Editor, Jenna G. Judith. Creative direction, Jenna G. Judith. And our podcast manager, Cait Winelovich. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all that jazz. Visit our website at margsandmanuscripts.com. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button.